Your first reactions to the suspension of the MPs, this is now, in a sense, becoming more common to see MPs being suspended this way in what used to be an extreme action earlier.
The reality is that who is stalling Parliament? Is it the government who's stalling Parliament? Or is it the opposition who's stalling Parliament? And who benefits when Parliament is stalled? Throughout the last session of Parliament, the budget session of Parliament, the opposition wanted a discussion on one issue, key issue, and that issue was price rise. I think the Parliament was 20 days plus, not a single issue, no discussion on price rise. This time, same thing. All opposition parties want a discussion on price rise, and the government will do all it takes not to have a discussion on price rise and then spin it to say the opposition is disrupting Parliament. This is the biggest problem. If you give me exactly 1 minute, I'll explain to you here. I've made this simple chart for you today. So we've got government, we've got Parliament. So government is responsible to who? To Parliament. And Parliament is responsible to who? The people. So once the government disrupts Parliament, they are answerable to no one. They are answerable to no one. And this is a crisis in Parliament. It's a crisis which the young people of India have to understand, because Parliament has been made a mockery of day after day, and I'm glad you've given me the opportunity to explain this.
But Derek O'Brien, the government says it's ready for this discussion on rising prices. It just wants the finance minister to recover from COVID and give the reply. May I just ask what's wrong with waiting for her to come back? It will be a few more days. Why not let the business of Parliament continue and then have the discussion?
I can give you about 20 examples when the defense minister of the country is speaking on some other subject in Parliament, where the agriculture minister of the country is speaking on non-agriculture subject. We understand if somebody has COVID, we are not so irresponsible that we will insist. And I will say this with all responsibility. Do not use COVID also. I'm sure I wish the finance minister well and get well soon. But the government has used the excuse of COVID for the last 2.5 years, not even to allow the media into Parliament. Very, very restrictive media. Just think about what's happening. You're keeping the media out of Parliament. You don't want a discussion. You don't want a discussion on Parliament. And there are some reality check on the numbers. How many questions has the Prime Minister of India answered on the floor of Rajya Sabha in the last 5-6 years? Zero. How many bills are scrutinized in Parliament? From a number of 65 to 70%, only 12% of bills are scrutinized today in Parliament, by Parliament. These are very, very serious issues.